generally with the bass drum, I like to hear a little bit of tone out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position the microphone just slightly so the capsule is just slightly inside of the actual port of the front skin. And what I mean by when I say that I want to hear a little bit more tone out of the bass drum, you could point the microphone at the beater. Directly, if I was to look in here, it'd be pointing at the beater. And so it'd be a very snappy, very slappy sound. So what we can do to get more tone out of the bass drum is point it towards the actual corner where the skin is actually seated on the bearing edge of the bass drum. So to do this, I'm going to get right behind the microphone and look directly in line, as if I'm aiming the actual microphone. And to do that, you have to be right in line with the thing. So I'm just going to get down and I'm going to point it towards the edge of where the skin meets the bearing edge of the bass drum, not towards the center.
That's like where it meets over here, not in here, obviously. So
exactly.
On the batter side of the drum head, he's going to point this mic to the opposite side of the drum.
Exactly.
Okay.
So get down. Okay, so it looks like I'm pretty happy with that. A couple of things to watch out for would be excess legs of cymbal stands or anything like that that could potentially move and bump the microphone. You just want to watch out for also the bass drum itself may move. You want to check your application if you're miking someone else's bass drum or even your own. The bass drum may slide forward and then it'll actually hit the microphone. You don't want that to happen. It'll just ruin the recording or the live application.
So now that we have our mic inside the bass drum, we're just going to bring in our sub kick, which is something that Victor actually made.
Right, and what this is just a speaker cone that had been wired with the positive and negative to go to a regular mic cable. And the cone itself comes from a Yamaha NS10 studio monitor, which has been the industry standard for many, many years. And so you just throw it up in front of the bass drum and it picks up a very low-end subwoofer sound from the bass drum. And it works really well in conjunction with your regular all-range bass drum microphone. So we're just going to place it in here. And so what I'm looking at, I'm going to try to get close to the center of the drum. I'm not too concerned if I'm a little bit off center of the drum. It's still going to pick up a very similar subwoofy type of sound. And another thing to keep in mind is the distance away from the skin, and I'm going to keep the cone parallel.